Welcome to Safe and Secure, where we discuss the problems and solutions that make up the systems integration world. Each week, we'll feature industry leaders and experts to discuss the obstacles and challenges in our industry with your host, Kevin Rand. So, let's dive in.
Michelle, how are you doing, ma'am?
I am well. I mean, here we are still, right? We're still at this virtually. It seems like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Super excited to begin to think about getting back out there, and schools are reaching out, wanting actual in-person meetings and trainings. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it is pleasant now that we've got starting to get some relief and maybe start getting back to a new sense of normal, which, normal is a very relative term, which I know you know all too well. What's safe and sound? What are you guys seeing out there, kind of trending or issues that schools are having to deal with right now?
Oh my goodness. I think, everybody's dealing with different things, I guess, in different phases of sort of returning to that semi-normal, that new normal. We've got some schools they've been back in person in Florida since late August. Here in Maryland, they're just beginning to start to send kids back to school in the public schools. So you've got folks in various kind of stages throughout the country. So different things, but regardless of what stage they're in, mental health of students and staff is absolutely at the top of everybody's list.
No, absolutely. And you and I have talked plenty of times, and everything safety security wise can't be done in that silo. And I think now more than ever, your physical security and safety people have got to be attached at the hip to the school psychs and guidance counselors and other mental health professionals. Absolutely. So Michelle, Safe and Sound has done a fantastic job of bringing together community or defining stakeholders. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys envision what community is, or the stakeholders that you think need to be involved around school safety and security?
Yeah, we've said from the get-go, if there's one, I guess, central principle that we think is the most important, it's that school safety takes all of us. It's a team effort. It's a team sport. So it really does take your SROs, your school psychs, your security personnel and directors, your educators, your parents, your students, your nurses. Everybody's got a unique perspective and experiences, and to leave any one of those roles out is to be missing important pieces of information, of data. And like I said, those perspectives that really round out a truly comprehensive approach to school safety. Takes a team.
It is definitely a team. And I think the two bigger ones there that really hit me is parents and students. As former security director, as a former teacher, I think oftentimes school administration, district administration, they're like, the public is paying us to be the experts. Therefore, we need to tell everyone what we are going to do because we are the experts, almost like this kind of top-down mandate. And sometimes, I know I did it in my career, we forget the importance of that parent and student engagement, because at the end of the day, they really are our customers, right? And I think we've got to be more customer-centric now more than ever, because of all the school of choice and the virtual options and all those kind of things. So how are you guys engaging the parents, or what would you, let me rephrase that. How would you tell a parent, hey, get involved with school security and here's how to do it?
Yeah, so we have a program designed specifically for this, because parents are typically pretty disenfranchised, as are students, from a lot of these conversations. And, I can point to that too in my career as an educator. Sometimes we're like, we've got so much to do, and it seems like it'll be faster if we just kind of bring the parents along later, or we're going to go ahead and make these decisions and then we'll bring the parents in later or the students in later. And it always ends up coming back at you, because the time you take to stop and educate parents and ask parents what they're seeing and thinking and feeling and hearing and what their understanding is, it's just so valuable. You end up just really saving yourselves a lot of backstepping and redoing and stuff like that. So our program, Parents for Safer Schools, is really about helping parents organize, learn different ways that they can plug in different projects that they can utilize as sort of a foot in the door, to really get a seat at the larger table, to make sure that there's not just like a token parent at the table invited, maybe twice a year to the safety and security meetings that the school safety team is working on. So I think that's a nice entry point for a lot of our parents. And I think once they see, these are all things that we can tackle. We can together conduct some surveys. We can support what's going on with the safety team. We can work on some projects. Then it doesn't become so daunting, and little bit by little bit, they become more and more involved. So it's really about just kind of finding a place to start. And that's what our Parents for Safer Schools program really helps parents do.
Yeah. And if you're a security director out there, I'm not going to speak for everyone because obviously I've not been to every school district in the country, but I would say the vast majority of those that I've worked with and where I was, you're multiple layers down from that cabinet or from that leadership. So while you do have a voice and they've hired you as the expert to do things, at the end of the day, you're handcuffed by budget, you're handcuffed by cabinets, the way they want to spend money. So sometimes, or oftentimes, you can tap into those parents to reinforce what you were trying to do. And at the end of the day, school board members are politicians. They report to the parents. And if the parents are helping you drive conversations, I think that's just going to help you open up funding sources and the importance of safety and security. Not sure if you guys have seen some of those things on your end where it's really played out like that.
Oh, absolutely. I think, and so I think, plugging parents in, however small the projects might be, or however small the role begins, naturally they become more educated constituents, and that serves school safety all around. They know better what they're advocating for, what they're talking about. I think a lot of times parents get sort of brushed aside because they'll come in with an idea or a worry or a concern, and a lot of times district staff, school staff, and leadership doesn't stop to educate them about what the actual lay of the land is, and so that just kind of perpetuates the cycle of, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, let's just keep them out of it, kind of a thing. So it really is important to find ways to plug the parents in. And like you said, as a security and safety director or a building level administrator or school psych, their parents are a wealth of information. They're also extra hands and eyes, and there's just so much that you can do when you've got that army behind you.
Absolutely. I had a great parent of mine that she actually did a safe and secure episode with us. Her name's Jessica Gonzalez. I believe she went through your parent program, and
our ambassadors. Yeah.
And she was a great advocate for me in the community. Luckily too, her husband was a captain with the sheriff's office, so she understood what we were trying to do. It was just, it was an amazing partnership. So absolutely, if you're a security director, you need to look into the parent program. If you're a parent, you need to look into the parent program, and y'all two need to get together ASAP and start working together on some really cool stuff.
Absolutely. All
right. So Michele, from my background, I was doing school security when I was 15, which was many a moon ago. I'm not going to tell you how many moons. But my SRO was a huge impact on me, right? And I was involved with that student and asked about, what do you think about weapons screening? back in the 90s, which was before Columbine. We'll just leave that time frame in there. But that was very important for me back then as a student. It was important when I became an SRO to involve my students. I didn't necessarily always have the tools or the know-how or even a formalized program to get students involved. What successes are you guys having around getting students involved in not only saying, hey, you got this wrong, Mr. Security Director, or to say, hey, we really need help around this?
Yeah, so similar to the Parents for Safer Schools program that we have a Safe and Sound Students program. And it really is just designed to give a voice, a leadership opportunity to students. And we tend to get a lot of students that participate in like National Honor Society or student government. What's unique about the Safe and Sound Students program is that you don't have to be like a high flyer, straight A, 4.0 SGA kid. There's leaders among all of the students. So I think it's really interesting to see a lot of students find their voice and find that they are leaders, through this program. So it really is open to all students who have creative ideas, insights, curiosities. What if we did this? I want to learn more about this. At the end of the day, all of our students, they want to be safe and comfortable in the school environment. And they have lots of ideas about it, lots of information about it. So similar to our Parents for Safer Schools program, this program is designed to help them get organized, help them get set up in a club type fashion. They need a staff sponsor. Often it's the SRO, might be a favorite teacher that sponsors the club, but they can organize. They can choose from a menu of different projects that we offer as ideas. But a lot of our groups, they come up with their own ideas. They look at what gaps they can find. A lot of them conduct surveys in the school to just try to figure out, what's a theme, what's a concern that's emerging in our school community, particularly among students, and where can we dig in?
Yeah, absolutely. I love to, you nailed it, where it's easy to get the same kids, right? The National Honor Society, the Beta Club kids, the student council, all those kids, right? It's get the other kids involved and getting those guys engaged, because they have a different perspective than those other kids, and being all inclusive and trying to bring that together for the benefit of all, right?
Yeah.
So
not every leader is a 4.0. Not every you'll find some really extraordinary leaders, and I think for a lot of these students, it's kind of a wow. I didn't know I had that in me. So it's kind of exciting to see that.
Absolutely. And if any students by chance come across this webinar, this series or whatever, I will personally pledge $500 to your organization and trying to help push you to do a successful project. So
they do some cool stuff, and it's all very community oriented. Some of the projects are as simple as, cleaning up the outside of the school. Being in school security, how important it is that the environment is well maintained and cared for, that bushes and shrubs and all of that really does have a serious impact on safety and security. And so things like that, they can be simple projects, or some of them are a bit more complex. We've had students that have taken it upon themselves to organize with public safety professionals in the community to make sure that there's appropriate signage on the insides and outsides of every exit and entry to the school. That sounds pretty simple, but it's actually very big and very expensive, and involves a lot of different members of the community to pull that off. So just so many things that they can do that have a great impact on safety.
Well, and at the end of the day, my fear is always that if I decide that, hey, this is a security priority, well, it may be a security priority for me, but it's not for the students. And did I just go spend $100,000 on something that did not move the needle, that does not make them feel safer? And I've talked a lot about that, safety is a feeling. And if our students are not feeling safer by what we're doing, that's a problem.
Indeed. I mean, I'm glad that you said that, because I think when we look to bring parents on board and students on board, it's really important that we're acknowledging those feelings and those emotions about safety, especially in this day and age, with the news cycle and the things that parents and students are exposed to and worrying about consciously or sort of subconsciously. Those things all, they have an impact on the climate, on the culture, on student performance and success. And those are all things that we want to take off the plate. We want everybody coming in as with the deck stacked for them as much as possible.
Absolutely. Well, Michele, anything else you want to talk about? Anything we need to cover today?
Well, we're already excited planning. So we have our Parents for Safer Schools. There's going to be a webinar series late spring. So we will be engaging again there virtually. We're still going to remain pretty virtual through the fall. In fact, we'll do our National Summit on School Safety in a virtual format again at the end of October. And then hopefully, we're all out and about and vaccinated and plugging back in person, because school safety and our communities, this is all very interactive work. It's all very people oriented. So I think we're all very excited to plug back in and get back in there physically again.
So Michele, how do we get a hold of you? How do we get a hold of Safe and Sound for more information on the conference, on the parent program, on the student program, et cetera?
Yeah, on everything you need from us is just Safe and Sound Schools. That's all you have to remember, safeandsoundschools.org. You'll find Parents for Safer Schools. You'll find our Safe and Sound students. You'll find our toolkits, our crisis support program, all kinds of different resources, as well as if you subscribe, we've always got current news that we're pushing out, blogs, all kinds of ways to stay plugged in and active, even in this virtual setting that most of us are still in.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this today with us. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Safe and Secure. For show notes, visit a3communications.com. Thank you again for watching, and don't forget to stay safe and secure. We'll see you next time.